Peace, family. This is Dr. Sadiki Baye, once again coming to you every Saturday as usual with some very deep and important topics that is a must when it comes to us. I deal with etymology and terminology, which is the study of terms and words and phrases, because what happened is the enemy has given us terms and words and phrases uh, that has been diluted. And I want to give it to you raw, like my second book that I wrote, Raw Food for Thought, Things We Must Eat Mentally. And so today's topic, family, I thank you once again for, before I get into the topic, is I'd like to thank you for blessing me with the opportunity to enter into your home once again. I'm a very appreciative and grateful person, and I don't take anything for granted. So I pray that what I'm sharing with you, that you will pursue it yourself, study to show yourself approval, and that I may motivate, inspire, and encourage you to do that. So let's get right on into it now. Today's topic is on the difference between, I love differences, the difference between hearing and listening, because they have tricked us up on a lot of different terms like prejudice and racism. A lot of times we look at it as the same, but there's some deep differences there, and I want to share with you the differences. But first of all, let's deal with hearing, which is very simple, and very short and sweet. That hearing is a faculty of perceiving sounds by detecting vibrations through your ears. Also, it is an act of perceiving sounds and receiving sound waves or vibrations through your ears. So let me sum it up, that hearing is an act, or hearing is a process, it's a function, and hearing is a power of receiving sounds, waves, and vibrations by which noises and tones are being received as stimuli. In other words, that sounds, tones, and noise is the stimuli to hearing. And you don't need to be focused on that. You don't need to be intentional on that. Because any kind of noise and sounds, it automatically stimulates the hearing. So, but listening is a different ball game. And listening is also an act. And it's an act of hearing sounds and understanding what you're hearing. So the key to it is understanding. Hearing, you don't have to understand. You just hear noise and sounds. But listening is an act of hearing sounds and understanding what you are hearing. So there's a focus there. There's an intentionality there when you're talking about listening. And it's one thing that I understand is that we hear each other, but we need to listen to each other more often. Sometimes we take each other for granted, and we must focus on listening to one another. So therefore, I like to share with you there's 5 stages of listening. The first stage is receiving. The second stage is understanding what you're receiving. The third stage is remembering what you understand. The fourth stage is evaluating what you are remembering. And the fifth stage is to respond to what you have evaluated. So again, there's receiving is the first, understanding is the second, remembering is the third, evaluating is the fourth, and responding is the fifth stage. These are stages of listening. Also, through my understanding of my awareness that there's four types of listening. Four types of listening. The first type of listening is appreciation. And appreciation is nothing but opening up your mind to receive. The second one is emphatic listening. And emphatic listening is understanding the feelings and emotions. The third type of listening is comprehension. My mind got kind of stuck there. Sorry about that. But comprehension or comprehensive listening, which is nothing but understanding or interpretation of words and phrases. And the fourth stage or type of listening is crucial. And crucial is nothing but analyzing and evaluating. So you have appreciation. You have appreciation, emphatic, comprehensive, and crucial. And we must understand that there's different levels to everything. There's different types of everything. There's different angles to everything. There are different mansions to everything. As it says in the scripture, there's different mansions. There's different departments, levels, degrees to everything. And I want to share with you through my study and my understanding and what I've been blessed with so that it can motivate you to go ahead on and take it to another level. Because we must know these things. We must understand these things, family. And we must know that a good listener, there's a difference between a good listener and a bad listener. A good listener allows the individual to demonstrate by paying attention to the thoughts, the feelings, and the behavior of the other person. That's what good listening means. That means paying attention to the thoughts, the feelings, and the behavior of the other person. So, family, in other words, it means to see the world through the other person's eyes. Now, let me remind you, it can be kind of crazy. It can be kind of deep there by seeing the world through somebody else's eyes. Man, don't forget that we got 500 years of craziness in us that we have to deal with, that we have to address, that we have to transform from and get back by the Sankofa principle, getting back to our original way of life. Because through this integration, which is these illusions that they gave us, this so-called education and all this other stuff, these illusions that they gave us, it took us further out in left field. So we have to devise a strategy, a process to get back to who we really are, which is the original people, the chosen ones, the children of God, the ones who give meaning to everything and everybody. That's our purpose of being here, to give meaning to everything and everybody. But everything starts at home, which is in your mind. We're not talking about no building. We're talking about the home of your mind. So, family, once again, good listening allows the person to demonstrate that you are paying attention to the thoughts, the feelings, and the behavior of the other person, and seeing the world through their eyes. And like I say, it can be kind of disturbing, but it's crucial in order to build a long-lasting uh, relationship based on communications. We must communicate with one another because all of us have been had. And we need to stop saying you need to wear my shoe. You need to wear my shoes. You know what I mean? As though no one understands what the other person has been through. All of us been through hell. Everybody know what hell is. Everybody know that fire burns. Everybody know what disrespect is. Everybody knows what taking each other for granted is. Been made to be something that we are not. But we have to learn how to listen to one another. And the difference between hearing and listening is focus, being intentional, being in the present, be in the moment of taking in what the person is relaying. And like I say, it can be very disturbing. But we must find a way in order to build a communications with one another. Because once again, all of us been had. So I gave you the meaning of a good listener. Now here is some things of a bad listener. A bad listener is what? A person who ignores, a person who disputes, a person who's disobedient, a person uh, who ignorizes, a person who does not take heed. These are the bad qualities, and this is how we operate with each other too many times. We must be intentional not to do that anymore, to ignore one another, to ignorize, one another, to dispute one another, to disobey, be disobedient, and to not take heed. Family, we must be focused on the communications, especially with one another. But for some reason, we only listen to what is required. And that's what I'm talking about. What I'm saying, what I mean by that is what is required for us in the system. Going to these schools to teach you how to be a fool. Going to these religious institutions that they're faking you out, giving you half truth or mostly emotions, when in fact the leaders should be bringing us together as one, not just emotionalizing everything, not just giving us history of others who they say we can never be, teaching us that we can only be sinners and wretches and all this kind of craziness. I'm responsible for me, irregardless of who's there, who's not there. My relationship is personal with the Creator, personal with the ancestors, and personal with myself, because everything starts within, out. Not out, in, but in, out. That's why I was talking to a brother the other day. He said, are you telling me that if you was in a cage compared to if you was out here, that you are free? And my response to the brother was, Hey, brother, freedom is a mental thing. Freedom is a mental thing because don't forget, we weren't slaves. We were in slavery. But unfortunately, some people compromised their mental and became a slave. So therefore, the enemy don't have to do anything anymore. You volunteer to go there. So we must be open and flexible when it comes to communicating with each other because all of us have been had. Like I said, like I say all the time. Some of us are just more healed than others because a lot of people, some people are about healing and most are not. And if you look at the average person, most are fighting to stay the same instead of transforming, instead of being able to listen, to be instructed. How can you even grow or change if you're not willing to be instructed? But unfortunately, we only are willing to be instructed by the people of the system. I don't care what so-called color they are. It's all about the mentality. Because we not only have the white folks and the foreigners as our enemies, we have some of these Oreos out here. Black on the outside, but white on the inside, the enemy. And that's the mentality. So, is it all about the color or is it all about the mind? Answer it yourself and be honest. Is a child an age or is a child a mindset? And they say that all children are foolish. So we have some old children, old foolish people that are not willing to transform. They're not willing to listen. They're not willing to study. They're not willing to have a solid relationship with the Creator that's always within. So when you pray, you go within. Praying is just a reminder to let you know that you are still connected with the Creator. Because sometimes we lose our awareness by what's going on the outside. So family, hearing and listening is two different levels. You don't have to focus at all when you hear. I hear a lot of things, but listening, you got to be in the moment. So listening allows one to make sense and understand what another person is saying. To make sense and understand it. But for some reason, we have a problem making sense and understanding where a person is coming from. See, understanding doesn't necessarily mean you agree. Understanding means, okay, I see where you're coming from. And a lot of times that can take the sting out of the hurt. Because sometimes understanding can be very painful. But it can be a relief at the same time. So family, effective listening. Effective listening means a lot. So what does effective listening can do? It can help you be a better student. Effective listening can make you a better student. Effective listening can help you have a better interpersonal relationship with one another. But you start with yourself. Believe in yourself. And then you can connect with those who believe as you believe. But we always have to remember to give each other the benefit of the doubt. We owe that to each other. Instead of just hammering people and just going there automatically. Be intentional about giving each other the benefit of the doubt since all of us been had. We are eagles by nature, but we are taught to be less than a chicken. And chickens don't even fly, but yet eagles eat chickens. I say that a lot. And I know you've heard that a lot, but guess what? Repetition is the key to learning. We got 500 years of craziness in us. And so somebody have to have the courage to stand up and make a difference. And that's what I'm doing to fulfill my purpose and create a legacy. And that's our purpose. And that's our reason, in other words, for being here, is to create a legacy. But first, we must fulfill our purpose, and the legacy will be there. So, family, also, an effective listening can cause a person to perceive you as more intelligent, because you can't fool energy. Everything that exists is energy. Everything that you're saying is energy. Everything that you're thinking is energy. Everything that you're feeling is energy. Be careful of the energy that you're entertaining. And sometimes we have to listen to the still small voice in us. A lot of people want to drown it out by all this crazy music and partying and overly sexed and chasing this and chasing that, the money and so forth and so on. But God said that above all that getting, get understanding. Things everybody out there trying to get are added unto you. How many people believe that? Obviously not many, because we feel we got to go out there and, like most people say, get that money. God don't care about money. And the purpose of money is to just give you options while you're in this world. But you don't have to love it. They say the love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself. So the things everybody else are out there chasing, the Creator said, I added unto you. Just be the person that you need to be. But do we believe that? So another effective effect of listening is that the more you listen, it can help you be a better speaker, a better public speaker, give you the confidence to do that. See, listening comes a package. It's in a package. A lot comes along with listening. A lot of good things, a lot of divine things comes with listening. And don't forget, listening is an act. It's an act of understanding what is being heard, making sense out of what's being heard, and go ahead on and do it. Now, there's also some qualities of a good listener, and some of that is not comfortable. And let me share that with you. There is qualities of a good listener. And the qualities of a good listener is they are fully engaged. They are fully in the moment. They are fully present. That's a quality of a listener. Another quality of a listener is they are willing to respond. And they respond quickly to whatever is necessary to respond about. Now, I know a lot of listening. I know the difficult part of listening is before then, let me say that a listener doesn't have an agenda. He's fully focused on the other person or the other people. And the most difficult thing is they don't jump in to give advice and interrupt. Man, it's hard not to do that. Give advice and interrupt, especially when people are off the wall with this crazy stuff that they're sharing with you. It's hard not to do that. But you have to discipline yourself and keep the purpose in mind. And the purpose is to develop a communications with the other person, an interpersonal relationship with the other person, in which we are not um, trained to do. Because what we do is we just listen, we just hear each other, and we're not really in tune with what the other person is saying. Because there's many ways to get to the same point. So some of us are good in listening, and most are not. So we must intentionally listen, as I said before. We have to do that in order to get back our communities, common unity, where the children, wherever they go, it's the same energy, the same mindset. So they can't get away with different things like they do today. They can do what they want in certain areas. But if we were all one when I was coming up, you couldn't get away with nothing. Nothing at all. If so, you know that there's some serious consequences. We need to get that back. We don't need all these police in our community who disrespect us and create a bigger problem by destroying us, killing us, choking us, shooting us in the back and all of this kind of stuff. We don't need that. We need each other. I don't need nobody to police me if I'm God-centered. My mind is way above the world's rules and regulations, or laws, or whatever you want to call them. So we must be more godly. We must get back to our original way of life and thinking. So, like I said before, it's very difficult to not interrupt people or jump right in, when the person is talking off their head, out of their minds. But we must be very disciplined to let them go ahead on and finish, which I said before is not an easy thing to do. Now, the good listener, as a result, always give follow-up questions. They give follow-up questions. And for that reason, the good listener actually listens as much as they talk. There's a balance. But a lot of people don't like listeners because when you respond to them, they feel that you're exposing them. And one thing about the mind, when the mind feels like it's being exposed, the first thing it does is to go defense. And that's what we have a bad habit of doing towards each other. We go and tell out the enemy, go to the psychology sessions and spill our guts. The enemy say, "What's your name?" And we give them the whole history of ourselves, grandma, granddad, all this and all of that. We'll be willing to open up to these people, and they do not have our interests at heart. Never have and never will, because they're totally opposite of us. And that's why they have this kind of love-hate relationship with us. They want to get in and try to be like us, feeling us, trying to act, get those rhythms and all of that from us. But they hate us because they know they can't be us. They can't be the leader of the house of the rising sun. We are the leaders and the protectors of the house of the rising sun. So, family, I pray that what I shared with you, the difference between hearing, which hearing is no more than a function of perceiving sounds by detecting vibrations and noises and tones. And you don't have to be focused to do that. But listening, you have to be focused to not only hear, but understanding what you're hearing. So above all thy getting, let's get understanding. With that in mind, family, Again, I'd like to invite you to my YouTube channel. Just put in Dr. Sadiki Baye, and you'll see a whole list of topics that I've been doing for the last couple of years that are very important. They give you different ways of getting back to our reality. And I'd like to invite you to my channel and push like and subscribe. And so when you push subscribe, that'll alert you every Saturday to make you aware that another video is available. This is what I have to offer. This is part of what I have to offer, along with the 3 books that I've written. The third one is coming out in the next couple of weeks, it seems to me. The first one is People Power. What happened to the people of African ancestry? The second one is Raw Food for Thought. The things we must eat mentally. Raw food, which means the truth. So family, all of us have something to offer. So let's dig deep and to share with each other what God has blessed us with, so that the ancestors can lead, guide, and direct us by honoring and representing them. Because in reality, we are the ancestors having a human experience. So family, I love you, I bless you, and I want you to prosper. Stay strong and keep your faith where it belongs, because life is for the living. Do your best and let God do the rest. In other words, you got to know when to hold and know when to fold. How do you know when to hold and when to fold? You have to have a sharp discerning spirit to know the difference, so you won't be using emotions. Also, keep your head towards the universe where all strength comes from, and never give up and never, ever, ever, ever give in. No matter how things seem is emotions. No matter how things seem, because everything is, always was, and always will be in divine order. God does not make any mistakes, but we do. But when you learn from your mistakes, it's all good. So keep on growing and keep on learning. You can't go wrong. But always remember that learning can be painful. But once you get to the other side of the pain, you can't beat the blessings. So keep on moving, family, with a purpose. And always remember to keep your lights on and keep them bright at all times. Appreciate you, family. I am you, you are me, we are one. Happy new journey. Be blessed and be safe. Baraka and Hotep. Peace, family. Dr. Sadiki Baye.